nicely tell us how much a dollar is really worth, which is a big fat zero. What I want to show you today is there's the purchasing power of the consumer dollar. 2007 was when the system died. We just don't know it yet, but it doesn't matter. Facts remain the facts. Officially, we have 3 cents left out of that purchasing power, but that's official. And what I want you to notice, when you go to the Federal Reserve Education Department, they nicely tell us how much a dollar is really worth, which is a big fat zero. Basically, this is the end of this currency's life cycle, and nothing can change it. That's why it really doesn't matter who is in power at any given moment. It is just a transfer, and what they're trying to engineer is a transfer into a new system. So what I want to show you today is exactly how they do it. It is not rocket science. Let's take a look at those repeatable patterns when they make this shift. Because what we're talking about is money. And whether it's fiat money or sound money, it's all money, just the flip side. So what's money supposed to do for you? Because originally, this is what it was created for, as a unit of account, a tool of measure, medium of exchange, a fair unit of payment, so that whatever you make today, you're fairly paid. But if you're not ready to spend it, maybe you want to retire, maybe you want to educate your kids in the future, a store of value. Now, gold supports all of those functions. But when they wanted to take over the system, they made the fiat money mimic gold, okay? So it mimics all of these functions of money, but baked into the system is inflation. And what does that do? It removes your purchasing power, and you don't realize it. If they can, that's what that 2% is about, to make the value of the currency drop slow enough that you don't change what you do. So, governments and central bankers need you to think that nothing is changing. This is how they do it. Okay? This was original. That's a $1 gold coin, and that was the same as a 1-ounce silver coin, and that was the same as a silver certificate. So they all were in circulation at the same time with the same level of purchasing power. There's your 20. But what they also did was put in the Federal Reserve notes. And again, they allow everything to circulate at the same time so that you get used to the one that really has nothing backing it and eliminates your ability to convert it and hold the central banks and the government's toes to the fire. So you think nothing has changed, but in reality, everything has when they take away the gold and they take away the gold certificates, right? But they always sell everything as convenient. Now, many people don't realize that in the 60s, there was a run on the dollar. And I'm bringing this up specifically because you're going to see we're experiencing that same run today. That's one of the reasons why I can tell you we're at the end. It doesn't matter what anybody does. There is no saving the system. It's dead and it's sick. But there was the global run with global central banks sending in their dollars and pulling the gold out of the system. And so much so that by the time Nixon took us officially off the gold standard, there was less gold in deep storage as there was prior to the confiscation. Now, if any of you are my age, then you're probably going to remember President Nixon coming on and say, if you buy everything in America, you're not going to have any loss of purchasing power. You're not going to notice it. It's incredible. Their job is really to lie. And there you are. If you are among the overwhelming majority of Americans who buy American-made products, your dollar will be worth just as much tomorrow as it is today. Is that true? Of course not. And I'm curious, how many people in this room actually own physical gold, physical silver? That makes me happy, and it also makes me happy that there are people in here that are just new to this, that are learning why it's so important to hold it. Because we can say it together for those that know. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. Everything else is a contract. In 1971, where the population lost the ability to convert those gold certificates into gold, now global governments lost that ability. And we were on a pure debt-based system. And as we all know, what they're reporting is north of 36 trillion, but we've been compounding interest forever. So what we're looking at here is the Federal Reserve note. There are the 4 functions of money. This was the promise. And here's the lie. Government fiat money, debt-based, you can print as much of it as you want. Just going down the aisle, you saw how much we could print it. It's in their control, their attempt to control the rate and speed of inflation. You can hold a bill and still maintain a level of privacy, right? Because if you've got it in your pocket, at least at this point, then nobody really knows about it. And they're trying to eliminate that. And it has roughly a 100-year cycle, give or take. And that's typically about how long government debt-based currencies actually survive. But they removed one of the functions when they created it because do you maintain a store of value over time? Of course not. Inflation erodes its value over time. That is by design.